Hi, we're going to get started in a few minutes. I feel like I owe you an explanation. We just need forms before we get started, but we also always have pizza and salad and other things for people who are either trying to grab some dinner or some milk or whatever. And it's for everybody, it's not just for commissioners. And I just called, and they should be out the door. They should be here in a minute, which means we would stop anyway and feel like organized. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to wait a few more minutes before we officially start. There are agendas under that table. There are speaker slips if you were coming to speak about something other than a zoning case, because that's kind of separate, although you can make out one of those forms. Generally, we get those comments in ahead of time. And that's all I've got. Cookies, that's all I've got right now. That didn't mean to be quiet.
You can do it all. Oh, that's real. Everyone just.
And I followed.
Did actually I just
Yeah, really. I'll zoom in.
It's got on the back. That's a late generation. So you took it down for a while, but
The last time I had my hair cut was
yeah.
You're also Sarah.
I'm Sarah. Yeah, I did see the middle last time.
Are you here?
Yeah, I'm gonna finish your liquor stuff.
Oh,
Just some more pasture.
Just throw that over here on this table. Thanks, man.
You know what's great? Yeah, it really is. So some pieces are going
Yes, I can only get it.
We're gonna go ahead and get started. Hello. Thank you for your participation about everything that is going on today. And I know the delivery was a little bit delayed and we tried to get ourselves, acclimated to that. We have a number of things on the agenda. We're going to go through tonight. We're going to try to be as efficient as we possibly can. There are speaker slips in the back. If there is something that you wanted to say during public announcements. And a couple of people have filed reports in the city. I will try to debrief, but they'll also come to you by email. So I'm Doreen Newhouse Sally. Thank you. Welcome to the October Area Commission meeting. And Amy, if you are ready.
All right, Jillian Dyer, here. Eric East.
Present.
Jeremy Davis.
Here.
Deb Gallagher.
Yes.
Justin Garland.
I'm Nick.
Seth Golden.
Here.
Chris Grotto.
Here.
David Hagley. Here. Zeta Jenkins.
It is now,
She's crossed. Right, Michael Kellmeyer.
Here.
Katie McDevitt is here. Benjamin McKinley.
is
Excuse. Demetrius Moore Saunders.
Here.
Kevin Pangrace is excused. Lewan Sellers is excused. Tim Sublet.
Here.
Dora Hassel. Here. Steve Waldron is excused. Brian Williams.
Here.
Tom Wildman.
Yep.
Okay. 14 present. We'll start with reports, and the way we normally do it, if we've not been to area commission meetings, is there are a number of regular reports that come to us, and we ask commissioners to hold on to questions that they might have, and we try to address all those questions together, and not points of dialogue, or topics for discussion. We try to keep them really as questions that can be answered. So, with you, if you're ready. Who is our liaison in the city, the neighborhood department?
Good evening, commissioners. So first, thank you to Commissioner McDevitt for joining me behind the scenes for our snow removal operations. Okay. So thank you, Commissioner McDevitt, for joining me. We had the opportunity to attend the behind the scenes of snow removal for public service. They gave a great overview of their operations, a great presentation that I found very informative. Thank you. We requested a copy of the presentation to be able to share that with all of the commissioners. There's a lot of good information to help set expectations ahead of winter weather for all of our neighbors, so we know how to respond when there are different levels of snow emergency, and also just understanding how soon roads will be cleared, which roads will be cleared, and to what degree of clear or passable roadways you should expect on the roadways around your home. We also suggested for the area commission that training be provided as part of the area commission training. So a larger lead time, letting commissioners know that they're invited to this event. It is part of their rodeo, so it's when the drivers get to show off their skills. They go through a skills course. We got to see that competition. And also make a request for the most talented driver to be the one driving the plow here in University. But unfortunately, it will be at that same sort of date and time, so it will be daytime. They won't be able to adjust that, but at least we will have the information and the action items for commissioners and neighbors. There is a planning training, a special edition for the north side. So if you weren't able to attend the one that was already offered in August, it'll be October 25 at 6 p.m. at Clinton Heights Lutheran. You'll RSVP to me. I sent an email with the information. There is no limit to the number of individuals who can attend, unlike the ones being hosted in person by the planning team in the city buildings. So this one is offered to accommodate Clintonville Area Commission. Those training dates always conflict with their zoning committee meetings. So this one is a special opportunity just for Northside area commissioners and zoning or variance committee members. So I'm hoping to recruit at least 2 more people to join, but again, there's no upper limit of the number of people that we can have. So if you're interested, RSVP to me sometime before the 25th, and we'll send you materials for that training. Also, area commission training coming up on the 28th, building and zoning. Again, I sent this via email, but this one will be in person, 9:30 to 11:30 in the morning at the Coleman Building, which is 111 North Front Street. That one will have more of a focus on zone-in, the workshops, the survey, the things that are taking place right now. So it's a newly developed, it won't be a duplicate of what you've already heard. So if anyone's available, you should have received the formal invite on Friday via email. So there's a link there to register. And I believe they requested that you register by the 26th of October. Okay. Our neighborhood best practices conferences will be in December at Columbus State Event Center, 315 Cleveland Avenue. I mention that now because the nominations for the 20 under 20 are open until November 3. So if there is a young person who has demonstrated advocacy, been engaged with the organization, if you've noticed their service to the university district, please submit those nominations. There's a link that I believe Commissioner McDevitt will be kind enough to share in the notes so that you can submit those again by November 3. And one more invitation. If you're not exhausted from meetings and presentations, and this one is somewhat in conflict with the presentation I mentioned, but our new American Leadership Academy, the current cohort is presenting their project that they've worked so hard on. That will also be on Wednesday, October 25. So if there is someone available to represent UAC, that will be 5:30 to 6:30 in the evening at 1111 East Broad in the Continental Room. You'll get to hear more from the New American Leadership Academy, what they've learned, what they've worked on this year. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Officer Marcotte may come in, probably by the particular schedule. Harrison is not able to be here tonight. We have a few announcements, that actually one of them is tonight, of course. So it was a conflict. Eastside community meeting at Driving Up Center is going to be tomorrow. There is and Sydney and some other things you want to add on this. 25th also is another 6 to 7 p.m. snack and learn. How to be a vendor with the city. It really doesn't apply to area commissions, does it? Except is that important for us to know? This is targeted for people who want to become vendors with the city.
Yeah, so more for your business community, not necessarily for the commissioners.
Okay. There is a climate pollution reduction grant project that is being sponsored by Councilman Rob Dorns to authorize the Department of Public Utilities to accept a climate pollution reduction plan and grant catalog. It's federal money. And there isn't much here that I have what you had sent me about what that includes, but as soon as there's more information, I'll be happy to share it. And then we do apologize for not being able to be here tonight. So we are going to meet our first new city attorney, Christopher Clark. We've been in contact with you, and welcome. Thank you. And you brought along your mentor and help, right?
Yes.
No, absolutely. This is my mentor, yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Christopher Clark. I am a city attorney. I currently represent the Zone 2, which is the I've been in this role since 2020. And I've enjoyed working alongside Sarah Pomeroy and Matthew Barrow, who previously was in this role. I am no Chastity Barron, but I will do my best. I know you have a lot of questions, and I've done my best to get caught up with the issues and concerns of the University Area Commission. I do live in Zone 4, which with the new reorganization of the Columbus Peace Zones, I currently live in this area. My wife is actually a professor at OSU, and is so we definitely know this area. The reason I asked Sarah to come along with me is because I know that you have a lot of questions about some of the liquor establishments that are in the area. I'm not really sure how you generally do this, whether it's a report or whether you ask questions and I respond. But for this particular session, I prefer if you just ask questions and then we can both respond to the best of our ability. And then going forward, I can give a presentation. Thank you.
I think I'll briefly add, it's good to see folks again. I know I actually started covering the University Area Commission when I first started in 2019. So it's nice, little full circle. Oh yeah, actually, sorry. It's nice to be back. I started in this area when I first started with the city attorney's office. I then have primarily just been doing Police Zone 1, which is the far north side of Columbus, but I also do the liquor permitted work for the entire city. So that is any place that has a liquor permit, gas station, market, bar. Obviously, we got plenty of those in the University Area Commission. So I know we got a list of a handful of questions. I'm not sure, again, referring to how you all like to handle it, we can start to tick through them, or we can wait and just take them.
Well, yeah, thanks for the commission, for the public audience to know. We didn't want to get you unawares, and we knew it was a new position. So I had asked area commissioners to send me questions that they might have that are still kind of out there that we were looking for answers for. It was not to obligate you in any way to have to do a full report tonight. It was just to give you an idea of some of them. And I suggested that maybe you just take 2 or 3 right now, and maybe do more about the liquor permits. I think most of us understand what's happening with Jack's right now, except for the question of the liquor permit or the business. And because I had been in contact with Steve Dunbar about Midway and being still out of compliance with some of its the things on the building, the outdoor television and whatnot, we were at one point told when they went to the review board, not to us, the review board, that in that area, that the effluent tank was granted their permission to be able to use the parking area for a stage. And they reviewed that. And we had never seen that. And Steve Dunbar was going to check to make sure, because the attorney for Midway Effluent Tank had said that all of the code violations were no longer out, that they had fulfilled them all. And I do know that's been an ongoing process over a couple of years, so we had no reason to doubt that. I asked Steve at that point, are they all cleared up, and he was checking on it. And part of that was because we were under the impression that some of them were caught in environmental court, just hadn't made it to the top of the pile yet. That these were not necessarily egregious code enforcement, they've just been hanging around for a number of years. And so I don't know if you were prepared to answer that tonight. So really, don't think of this as a grilling, but if you can have pick anything on that list, because we know now, we've had Christopher will be used to know that we track people at this point. From here on in, we can make direct contact. But if there's anything on that list, you can answer, that would be great.
Absolutely, yeah. So generally on Midway, there is a packet waiting for review by Steve Dunbar for a couple of outstanding things. The court order that resolved, at least closed the case most recently. Yeah. The court order that closed the case most recently had a couple deadlines for applying for XYZ, like zoning clearance and a handful of other things. They did meet those deadlines. I do know Steve followed up with the attorney to check in about the status of a handful of things. So I will say, I think Steve, like continuing to stay in contact with Steve, he will be the one handling those moving forward. Because you're right, when we think through liquor objections, what primarily drives us is drug overdoses and violent crime, and then obviously you've got chronic liquor violations. Those are sort of the big three. And right now, Midway has the code issues, but that doesn't always rise to the level of, therefore we also move forward with any sort of objections. So a lot of that I think is going to be handled by our section chief, Steve Dunbar. Yeah.
With regard to Ethel and Tank, I did also speak.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
With regard to Ethel and Tank, I also did speak to Steve, and he indicated that the process is going to be, yes, it's going to be your process. At this point, yes, the variance or any applications that they send through, it's going to be the job of the area commission to decide whether or not you want those processes to go through. You can vote yes, you can vote no, but it's going to be very important for you to make a decision so that the community around the process can go through. And then with regard to Jack's Corner Pub, the next court date, is December 14th. I spoke to Jim Andrioff, the attorney for Roy Walls and Jack's Corner Pub, and the bar will remain closed until we have a final settlement from the court. So I also was able to speak to the Banks family, or Ms. Yolanda Banks and her family today, and they're very appreciative of the community support. So I mentioned that as well.
Yeah. So one of the Jack's questions was whether, like, what would happen to that liquor permit? Like, does someone just get to take over the permit? What happens there? So liquor permits are assigned to both a place and a person, or an LLC or something like that. So anytime one of those changes, so anytime ownership changes or the location changes or both, we actually have an opportunity to potentially object to that permit. So part of this process will also be that it depends on sort of who wants to potentially take over that location. Do they want to continue it as the same type of bar? We probably have some of the same concerns. Does it switch to something that is a regular restaurant that closes at 11? That's a different scenario. Does it not have liquor at all and that permit goes elsewhere, potentially not even in the area? All of that, basically, every week City Council sends out its agenda. I recommend taking a look at City Council's agenda every week, because at the top of it, they actually tell you what are the new liquor permit related requests that come in every single week. And those are lists we get, and we typically will run numbers. I'll check through my emails. My fellow colleagues will check their emails to see if there's been any complaints about a location. Obviously with Jack's, as soon as a request comes in on their permit, like if it's to just transfer it to a new person and do the same thing, that's a red flag, and especially if we haven't talked to anybody yet. So process-wise, it is, we get a bite at the apple regardless of any sort of change, whether it's ownership or the location. So hopefully that helps clear some of that. I think the last one I can potentially answer. There was a question also about what sort of the timeline is for any sort of liquor permit objections. We're actually, we've taken in complaints throughout the year. We have talked to police, we've talked to state investigators. We build a list of potential objections throughout the year, and we make those final decisions pretty much by the end of the month. If there are any that fall in University Area Commission, you'll be getting an email from me to talk through sort of what that looks like. So that process then we will likely be before City Council to lodge any sort of objections, one of the December meetings. So that's just the general timeline. It's always pretty much calendar year looking at a permit for any potential objections. Thanks, everyone.
Yes. Yeah, I'm open for questions.
Okay. And we usually take questions
At the end.
at the end of the report, if that's okay.
That's totally fine.
So we'll make people hold their questions.
We'll
Thank
wait
you
with
very
bated
much.
breath.
Oh, by the way, Christopher Clark, my email address,
You don't have any cards?
I do.
Yeah, if you could,
Just give me one and then you can.
yeah, I'll take a picture and send it.
Perfect. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay, and we'll be back with some questions, I think, from you then. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Matt? Hanson?
Hello, Matt Hansen with Ohio State Planning, Architecture, and Real Estate, and also Campus Partners. So just a couple updates at Gateway. Euphoria is open. Go visit it. It's a very cool, relaxed space. And if you haven't caught their latest social media, if the Buckeyes lose on Saturday, they will buy your tab. If you go to,
Wow.
yeah. So there's a couple of qualifiers you have to get in there before halftime. You can't overserve yourself with the limit. So, but they'll pick up a couple of you. So check them out. It's a cool space. There's lots of games to play. They've got ping pong and a couple video games, air hockey. Yeah. Anyways, it's a fun space.
Where's it located?
It's where World of Beer used to be in the alley, Gateway Alley. And then also at Gateway, so it was reported that Young Kang, which was a tenant that we had signed up like right before the pandemic, and they didn't want to continue with their space once the pandemic like became a thing. And it was reported that they were coming back. Well, they're not coming back. There's this kind of fake news. So don't know how that got reported out, but we're still looking for a tenant at the former, it was Oxley's bar. And then at University Square, we've got our music series continuing over the summer. We had jazz quartet. We've got a 3-piece rock jazz trio. They will be playing every other Thursday starting tomorrow from 4 to 6 p.m. So weather's nice, so you can go out and relax in the patio and enjoy some music. And then on the OSU side, the Board of Trustees passed the Framework 3.0 plan for the university. And then Planning, Architecture, and Real Estate will be hosting a number of virtual information sessions about Framework. I know they came and presented to you all, so a lot of you are probably already familiar, but if you didn't catch the presentation, there will be a virtual option you can attend, and I'll be sure to share that information with
congratulations on your successful event.
Oh, thank you. Yes, Northern University District Organization. Yeah, thank you everybody that came out to enjoy Pearl Alley Jam on October 7th and 8th at the University Square in Pearl Alley between 16th and 15th. We had 10 total bands across both days. We had 4 artists paint dumpsters that are already back to their homes in Pearl Alley. So if you want to check out the dumpsters that were painted, they are, you can find them between 13th and Pearl and Chit and Pearl, along that little stretch in there, interdispersed with the already painted dumpsters that we have part of our Trash to Treasure initiative. It was great. We had Soha Collective helped curate a lot of our vendors. So, and the vendors were happy. It was good music, kind of crap weather, but overall very fun event. And so hopefully we'll be able to do it again next year. And if you want to get involved with that next year or any other arts initiatives or things, you can always shoot me an email and we can put you on the Arts Implementation Committee email thread. So yeah, so yes, thank you for anybody that came out and also volunteered and whatnot. We will be sharing photos for that as our photos come in from the different photographers that helped us out that weekend too. So yeah, just keep your eye out on some other recaps. The other thing that we have going on is we're continuing to do our Can Ferry recycle program anywhere between Chit and 16th east of High. We have 100 student households signed up. And we are filling up basically a full recycle dumpster almost every week with our collections. And they've been really clean and really great. So that program is continuing to do well. There is a 614 Beautiful grant application due this Friday. So if you're interested, it's due on Friday at 5. And but I think that is about it for me right now.
Last but not least, because we needed to be first on this agenda, is Rochelle.
That's okay, I'm fine with being last. Hi everyone, Rochelle Toth with Ohio State Off-Campus Community Student Engagement. We're excited, we are growing our team, and so we have a new team member. Her name is Lindsay Shaw that will be joining us on November 6th. Lindsay's role will be working directly with our property owners in our off-campus housing network program and helping to implement the safety inspections with code enforcement. So we're excited to welcome her and hopefully we'll bring her to an upcoming meeting after she starts. We also had our community cleanup last month. We had 250 volunteers and they were able to collect about 175 bags of trash and recyclables. So we're super excited because we're doing that again this weekend. So that will happen this Sunday at 10 a.m. And so we're looking forward to continuing those efforts and hopefully the same success as well. We also know that you all did a cleanup as well. And so we look forward to potential opportunities to maybe collaborate in the future too. So I'll definitely be following up and connecting. In addition, with our efforts about really focusing on trash in the university district, we also have an effort coming up with city code enforcement that will be doing a trash sweep on Monday morning. So with that, they go around the university district and they issue notices to anyone that has trash in their yard. And then they give them a day or two to comply and clean it up. And they come back 2 days later and will write notices at that point. If it's not cleaned up. So we've had a lot of successes, our third one of the semester, and we've had 16 was the highest number of violations. So we're hoping that we'll continue that as well. We also had a food truck last September. We had 450 attendees. So those are really focused on bringing the community together. And we also have different educational topics that are implemented within those as well. Our next food truck is coming up on October 27th from 4 to 6, and that'll be at Coffee Underground on Norwich and Indianola. And so we welcome anyone from the community to stop by, grab some free food. I think it's chilly this time. We also participated in the homecoming parade into our office, just to gain awareness out there and share with students different resources from our office. We directly connected with 1,400 students during that event, just sharing resources about safety and living in the off-campus area. Yesterday, we had our off-campus living expo, where we had just under 50 tables. That was property owners that were sharing options they have available for off-campus living, as well as city resources and university resources for students. A lot of them related to safety and well-being, so helping students to transition off campus. And we had just over 350 students attend that event as well. We have a roommate fair that is tomorrow from 4 to 5:30 in the Ohio Union, so helping students to connect with one another if they're looking for roommates for next academic year. And then over the last few weeks, as we round out this month, our educational topics that we're focusing on are fire safety, as it was Fire Safety Prevention Week a few weeks ago, and also Party Smart with just some large football games and maybe some other Halloween and other types of events. So that will be a lot of our education in the next few weeks. Thank you.
Sorry. So easy to look down, and then I decided not to. The one last thing that I have is, as the weather is starting to turn, the one thing that we are in need of for our outreach efforts, and with Kate Danino, our social worker through Southeast, is any boots, book bags, or coats. So boots, book bags, or coats. Those are the three major things that we are in need of. The Area Commission has been amazing the last couple of years that I've been here, at donating some, warm clothes and whatnot. Talking to Clay about potentially doing a drive with you all again this year. Those are the three main things. So if you look in your closets, you have some old coats that are still okay, a book bag you haven't used, or some boots that are still okay, but you've retired them. Please bring them in, and we'll collect them at the November Area Commission and at the December Area Commission.
Let me start on this side of the table. Is there anyone who has questions for any of the resources? And you're not discussion, but no question. No?
Can you send me all of your reports via email? And I'll make sure that I do it, just as one.
Tom, okay.
Oh, Lauren. The other table will just start from here, okay. All right, I have two questions, I guess. One is, I'd like to have, maybe for next month, the city representatives coming up here of all the programs that are available for the homeless and support what amounts come forward us. We're all aware of some of them, but maybe the city has changed a few, and some of them exist and some do are brand new. At the commission, I think we would like to know what those programs are, and so we can get all that information out to our communities and see how we can also dovetail into it. The other, since we have the city attorney here, I believe his name is Mr. Clark. Yeah, Mr. Clark. Something came up that I brought up last month, and it's been really egging me on for about 6 years since it was done. The city, a number of years ago, very sneakily passed a new code that has to do with our alleys. And where the city of Columbus used to be responsible for our alleys and cleanup and work that has to get done there. And then when commissioners around the city came together and asked the city to start cleaning up the alleys, what the city attorney's office did, along with the building department and mayor and city council, was pass a law where the property owners are responsible now up to the center of alleys and center of the streets. And I think when they were looking at that, they were looking at cleaning up the noxious weeds and trash, so it really shouldn't be the responsibility up to the alleys and streets when we don't pave them. Things that really concern me is, when the property owner is somebody responsible for this, that means in an alley, technically the property owner has to remove the snow in the middle of winter. It means leaves have to be removed, refuse for truck dumps, recycle items that get left behind by the recycle trucks, gravel from alley pavers gets washed down the street, and suddenly 3 property owners have to figure out how to get rid of that. It never used to be property responsibility, the city's responsibility to do that. Really left behind by city workers. So I think it's really important when such a code is written and gets passed by city council that costs property owners thousands and thousands of dollars in addition to what they're already paying. It should be public input and the public should vote on something like this and not just the city very sneakily adding a new code.
Would you suggest that, is this something you could research to see where this is, if indeed the interpretation is what we're assuming? You know.
I'm sympathetic. I also have an alley behind my house. I am also responsible for the halfway point between my alley and my neighbor's alley. There's also illegal dumping in my alley, so I also am sympathetic to that, to your concerns. That is, I want to be clear that my role as a city attorney is to enforce public nuisance codes, and so illegal dumping is something that our office prosecutes, but it is not something that I can answer at this time or can give you an answer. That answer can be provided, or that question can be provided to city council or their representatives. But as my job is to enforce city codes, and so if there's a question about that, I can answer that. But besides that, it's outside of my job.
Thank you. And I think that's probably something we could put in. Sometimes we've talked about frequently asked questions on the website, and maybe we should make a note because obviously there's confusion around, but this is something we might be able to answer for other people looking for answers.
Yeah, that's not your fault. The city is the city, and I'm a city employee. Yes, but still, there's so many different departments. Yes.
This is a zoning code change, and I remember when it happened, and I questioned it at the time, but I didn't have enough support around the city to stop the code from being implemented. It was implemented without public input. That was my biggest concern. The public should have been notified and see if they really wanted that change. It just happened.
Thanks, Mr. Regarding the question that came up about programs and resources for homeless, for those of you who are here giving reports and others who may be connected, if you filter those things to me, and I will try to do an outreach also with some other groups, street groups, right, and see what we can compile for the November meeting, or maybe the evening gathering. That was a good one. So this side, and anyone on this side have a question for any of the people reporting about Jeff?
A question from Matt regarding OSU. Is there any plan on reinstating the funding for people to buy houses in the university district?
Thanks for your question. Unfortunately, that funding has run out, and we haven't received allocation to start that program back up.
Is it something that might be done eventually, or has it just been kind of, we did that and now it's over?
If funding becomes available, we would love to reinstate it, but it's currently not.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, then I'm going to move on the agenda and thank everybody for moving along pretty quickly here. We have Mr. Decker and Mr. Anderson from the speed limits. And tell us a letter and put us in connection with each other. We know we can only give you a limited period of time. I think Jeremy's going to keep track of time, am I right on this one? So if you can give all of us the overview, then I think maybe Kate is going to offer to work more with you if there's specifics you need. So we can make the quote and we can be part of the proposal.
I will try to talk fast and to the point. My name is Jack Decker.
Close to the microphone as possible. That's good.
My name's Jack Decker. I'm the relatively new president of the Short North Civic Association. With me is Pete Anderson. He is the chairman of our Traffic and Calming Infrastructure Committee. And we're here to, build a bridge with the University Association or the Area Commission so that we can act together in areas of mutual concern. And secondly, and more specifically, to ask your support by resolution or otherwise for our efforts to achieve 25-mile-an-hour speed limits on Neal, King, Fifth, and Third Avenues, the east-west streets from the river to High Street, and Neal Avenue from the University to 670. All of those to be enforced with appropriate traffic light timing and any other reasonable method. That's what we're here to ask for. Let me just give you some brief background. The revised code, section 4511.21, sets a default 25-mile-an-hour speed limit as for municipalities, but for a state route, which also includes a US route, or a through highway, the speed limit is 35 miles an hour. Fifth, Third, King, and Neal are through highways under the code's definition. This is not a thoroughfare under the city's thoroughfare plan. It's its own particular definition. The default speed limit is 35 miles an hour. There are two ways to change that. The first way, under 4511.21, is to submit a speed study to ODOT, which then may reflect or justify a lower speed limit. The speed study methodology essentially measures traffic speeds along a particular street for 24 hours and then identifies the 85th percentile, that point at which 15% of the traffic is going faster than that value, 85% of the traffic is going less, and that informs you what your speed limit ought to be. There is some opportunity for fudging it up and down based on things like, is it an old neighborhood? Are there a lot of cyclists around? Are there a lot of pedestrians? Is the sightline poor? Are accident data bad, et cetera, et cetera? But the speed limit, the speed study rules don't really tell you how much weight to give to those things. Historically, the city, at least 10 years ago, gave very, very little weight to anything but the raw number. And they basically viewed this as a dispute resolution process where the entire decision making could be shifted to a method and to ODOT. The other way, and the way that we want to explore, is simply there's another section of the code, 4511.65, which says that a city council can simply declare what is a thoroughfare street under the code not to be one. Like magic, if you go back to 4511.21, since it's not a thoroughfare street, it now follows under the catch-all provision. It's a 25-mile-an-hour street. We'd like the city to take a good look at that. A little history lesson. Back in 1995, there was a Spring Sandusky interchange project. Prior to that, the speed limit on all four streets was 35. ODOT decided to enact a 25-mile-an-hour ODOT. The city decided to impose a 25-mile-an-hour emergency speed limit for the four streets, which lasted for a long time. All the construction for widening 670 was done by the early 2000s, and was it 2004 or thereabouts? ODOT revoked its emergency authorization. The sign stayed up for 10 more years. There was, of course, no enforcement because the speed limit by law was 35. The sign said 25. Finally, the city decided to do something about it, and we had a big dialogue with them, Peter and I, and lots of other people. Speed studies were done. They showed an 85th percentile speed on the four streets between 35 and 4.5 and 32.5 miles an hour. ODOT gave only a rounding value on two streets to round down where they would have rounded up to 30 miles an hour for all of the various things that you can think of why you should treat our streets in our neighborhoods more sensitively, because they were designed in the age of the horse and buggy. The sight lines are poor. We have lots of cyclists. We're trying to encourage lots of pedestrians. The ODOT study looks at the high end of the distribution curve. It seeks to reduce the speed difference, which is dangerous, between the fastest traffic and the 85th percentile by essentially moving the speed limit up to encompass most motorists. That ignores the problem that we have, which is our most vulnerable people. About half the people who are killed in Columbus from traffic accidents are on bikes, motorcycles, or on foot. So we like your support to engage this. We would like to be able to represent that in addition to Harrison West Society and Italian Village Society and the Short North Civic Association, and perhaps other groups, that we have the support of the University Area Commission for this initiative. Are there any questions?
That was a great talk, Mr. Anderson. Is there anything you'd like to add?
I'll just say it's a pleasure to be back. I think I was here some 10 years ago speaking about traffic. So the saga continues, and Jack and I know that in interacting with the city, it's so critical to have comprehensive support from all of the districts and neighborhoods involved. So that's why we're here tonight.
I forgot to mention that 10 years ago, the University Area Commission joined with us in supporting the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit.
And I think Katie is our chair planner. Katie, and I know you've been working on this also about speed limits and traffic jam. I'm wondering if it would be good for you to invite them to the planning committee, which would be in 2 weeks on a Wednesday. Right? Like, I believe they have the answers. But, oh no, it would be in November. Right. To be able to talk a little bit more in detail. I'll let you go here and delivering.
Oh, you're not delivering. I'm trying to remember things. I'm doing great. Yes, I will. If you can provide your email addresses when we leave, we would love to meet with you, figure out how we can collaborate on this. We've got maybe we would like to extend the streets that we're looking at just to make sure that we have more cross streets and have a good coordinated approach. So sounds good.
Yeah, I think one of our first, that sounds very good. It seems like one of our first efforts may be to try to deal with the criteria that the city may use to depart from the ODOT methodology. And this would be a good opportunity for the University Area Commission to cooperate with us to try to massage the criteria in a way that would be helpful to students, not and other pedestrian and bicycle heavy neighborhoods not to suffer from increased speed.
So I was just going to say, are there any questions?
Yeah, I think your original parameters, it sounds like you're talking primarily from High Street to the west. What about 5th Street, east of High Street, where the...
Those are not residential, those are not through highways, through residential areas. Those become commercial areas. Yeah. So the speed limit drops to 20, well, first off, King and 3rd end at high.
They are no longer so very commercial. They are kind of the residential.
Fifth Avenue is classified right now as commercial. So it's posted at 25, and it's only the 0.9 mile stretch between Olin Heath River Road and High Streets that's speed up. You're in a residential area because it's also 25 over in Grandview. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, Madam Chair, you get to go.
After a planning committee, that last, we talked about the, I sent the planning committee out. Yeah, and everything on that. After the last, planning committee meeting we had here, I sent to the planning committee and other commissioners, a study that was done by ODOT down in Cincinnati, and maybe Maureen can send that if you got a copy of that, to you, where ODOT worked with municipality just outside of Cincinnati on the northwest side, where they actually worked with the community and reduced the speed and gave a reason why they could do that. But you might take the evidence from what ODOT gave as a reason. I mean, this is not for downtown Cincinnati, this was for a political, it's probably a political thing, was my guess. But they did reduce the speed where ODOT doesn't typically work with you to reduce speed. And yeah, you can send that article to you, you might be able to glean something from how they work that out and then say, hey, it's been done before.
Thanks. I'm going to be giving out our email addresses here in a minute, so that.
2 minutes.
Any other questions?
Just a suggestion, Michael Kellmeyer and I had the opportunity to hear you last night at Denison Place. The Denison Place members there requested that you provide a boiled down, succinct statement specifically of what you're asking for to go to the city. I think if you could provide that to us as well, so that we are responding to the same piece that Denison Place is, that would be very helpful to us.
I promised to do that yesterday, and you're going to get it tomorrow
Well, I know
morning.
24 hours is too soon to ask.
You're going to get it tomorrow morning, and it will say exactly what I said at the beginning of my
But
talk.
I think this body responding to the same piece would be consistent and efficient.
And thank you so much, and thank you for being so concise tonight. I appreciate that very much, both of you being here. I will look for the study that Tom mentioned, the ODOT study, and I think it's an important one because in various other times in the history of the university, we've looked for things that have never been challenged by the Ohio Supreme Court. So we look for things in Ohio that can help bolster, a lot of it sometimes comes out of Cincinnati. Whether they remember that they passed it or not, doesn't matter, and maybe something else. But it does work very well. And that
We'll look at that, but we also understand ODOT is revamping its speed study requirements too. So we're dealing in a moving playing field, and we need to find out more about that as we go along.
Katie, I think her meeting is on November 13th. No, I'm sorry, it would be the week before, the 19th. It would be the 8th. It's kind of.
We'll get you it.
Great. And I am on a trip with Peter. We'll
Yes.
figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much for the attention and time. And I do, Tim, you will get it.
Oh, you give us your email?
Yeah, mine is.
He was copied when I sent out the agenda, so if you look at that email.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, we're moving on the agenda. And so, I have no speakers for this in terms of, committee reports. I think we're turning this over to zoning, correct?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, first on the agenda, we have 50 East 7th Avenue, Brooklyn. We drove up from Cincinnati, speaking of Cincinnati, and it is a request to install a new projecting wall sign in a residential zone, and we heard it in zoning, and we will now hear from Brooke what, you want to pass out your.
I have some.
Yeah, some pass.
You can give them to me. I'll just pass them around the table.
So,
Thanks.
okay.
So you have 7 minutes to present.
My name is Brooke. I'm with Atlantic Sign Company in Cincinnati. The packets that are coming around, they are going to have our original submittal, our original deny letter, and then also our revision that we made. In our meeting last time, we talked about how we didn't like the blade sign. Peerless has decided to go with a wall sign. The sign itself is now within code, so the variance we're seeking is only for the height of the sign. Because it's still higher up, but it is
lower than it was. So when you look at the original, you'll see where the sign was, and there's some bricks. We all agreed that we thought it would look better if it was in the bricks as opposed to above the bricks, so it is now. I believe it's about 20 feet above grade instead of 40, but we're still outside of that code. Sorry, once they get around, maybe you'll have some questions. But basically, that was what we discussed last time, was that we just needed to switch it up from that blade sign because we didn't like it. And so we hopefully we found a good medium.
Pass those things around so we can get looking at it.
Is it still backlit?
Yes, nothing on the design has changed. It's the exact same sign, just not on the blade. It'll be on the wall. Because I knew that you liked that, so I made sure that we included that part.
So the size is still what you.
The size is the same, but now it's within code. So we're not.
Yeah,
We're
let's
not.
hold off on questions until we get to questions. You're just
Sorry,
presenting.
yeah. So the sign now is within code. So like I said, it's the same exact sign. And I submitted it back to Dane at the city, and they've approved, they can't approve it because we still have to go through variance. But now that part of the variance is moot, and we are moving forward with it just being taller than what's allowed, or higher than what's allowed. Another thing that we had talked about was the visibility of the sign for pedestrians and drivers. And one of the reasons that they do want it so high is that everybody is going to be coming in from High Street, so it does give a little bit extra visibility. It also gives some visibility when you're coming up from the Kroger. Kroger is a bit lower, so when you're, I think you're a little bit of a hill, still get a little extra visibility there with the height. But basically, we did our best to kind of meet you guys in the middle here on what was requested, but also keep the integrity of the sign that we wanted. I don't really have much to go over other than that. It's pretty, like I said, we did our best to meet you guys where we were. So
Okay.
if we want to close my part and go to the next part.
Okay. So zoning committee report, it was voted down 6-0, but it was a big paddle sign 40 feet up, and we sort of left it open for Ms. Leany to make some changes, which she has stated what those are. 20 feet lower, correct?
I'm not, now that I say it out loud, I can't 100% confirm that, but it does, I can't confirm the 20 feet, but it is in that brick area that you guys requested it to be in. So it's a lot, it isn't as high up because before it was between the 4th and 5th floor, and now it's looking like it's probably right above the 1st and the 2nd.
Okay, wait a minute, wait. We're not to discussion yet. This is the report. So there was concerns from some neighbors that it was still in a residential area, even though it was across, as the applicant said, from a Kroger parking lot. So there was some neighborhood concern. And with that, is there anyone here from the public to comment or speak about, we sent the cards out. No one from the public? And with that, we'll go to commissioner comment. And we'll start.
Recognize people if they.
Yeah. Yes, start down here. Eric?
I'll repeat the question. I'm sorry, I cut further.
And just speak loudly.
I'm just asking if it is backlit, it's not front lit or right.
The design's exactly the same as it was originally, so yes, it's that way.
Okay, you said built into the bricks, so it's like recessed in, or?
No, it's still gonna come off the wall a little bit, just like any other normal sign would be, but it's on the brick portion, because remember there's those two separate facades, so it'll be on the brick facade as opposed to this, I think it's stucco or something like that. That kind of, maybe not stucco, but that appearance. So it's in the brick portion, so it's further down, instead of between the 4th and 5th floor, it's between the 1st and 2nd.
Oh, okay.
So it's significantly lower.
Okay, all right.
Have you had the chance to talk to the church at all?
No, I reached out and nobody heard anything. So we can keep trying, but now that it's not a blade sign, so it doesn't really. I understand how it would affect them. Yes, it's very less. Yes, yeah.
Can we wait until all of the commissioner questions are done? I think that's typical.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
That's a lot of typing, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Right, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Katie.
Do you have a pen and I can?
Yeah, here you go. Or,
Thank you.
yeah, just keep it. And, do you have anything?
I don't.
I'm just trying to pull in the information here. It looks like they want to go feet as a correction at 8 feet, 50 feet. But it looks like on this proposal here, they're looking for 10 feet now instead of 8 feet. Is that correct? Is that correct, Lauren?
Well, she can answer that. She's writing it down.
And I can't remember what part goes anymore. It is on illumination. So maybe someone on building committee tell me about what our allow for illumination or something.
Ms. Squally? No comment? Okay. Maureen? Jeremy?
No question, but just to say that it's much better than the projected sign.
I would just like to know what was the specific concerns of the reason why you didn't want the sign?
Deb? Dan, Mike?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to know what the specific concern, I don't know if you could tell us what the specific concerns of the neighbors are. And the blade sign, was it like sideways so it stuck out? Is that what was so objectionable about?
Yeah, it stuck out. It was big. It was way up on the building. But
Oh, okay.
the neighbors, like stated in the report, the fact was in a residential area, even though it's really not that residential being across from a big parking lot. So still is.
It is a residential area.
Yeah.
It is.
So,
Okay.
So that was the main thing. It's too big.
Okay.
Maybe too bright for the church, maybe. But,
Okay. I get that. Okay, cool. Thanks.
so you want to answer? Go.
I think we're to the gentleman. in the
Oh,
back.
yeah,
Is that
second
correct?
round. Anyone want to go around again? Brian? Tim?
You still have the UIDRB review as well.
What does that stand for?
Of the university impact.
That's area review.
I don't think, is that part of that?
I don't know if that was part, this was the only thing I thought we needed to do. If there's another thing, just let me know. We have now until November, so.
Well, when we first talked way back, you seemed to know that you'd be missing that.
Right.
And it would go the next month.
Right.
So.
I'll get with the city and make sure
Yeah.
that everything's all.
You might be able to answer that question. Pete? Any second question?
Only the clarifications that I put out there, and one of the clarifications could be coming from you, clarify for us what our code is for illuminated sign.
Squally?
Nope.
Okay, now you can answer.
I can answer some questions.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the illumination, I'm not sure what the code is, but it is within code. The city of Columbus has signed off saying that portion of the sign itself is in code, it's just the height that is not within code. Because it's gonna be so, I think the code is 10 feet above grade, and right now we're asking for 20 feet above grade. But so I'm assuming the code is probably backlit, not super bright, it needs to have a kind of that whitewash on it, which is what it's gonna be. You had another question about something about 10 feet to 50
I was
feet?
confused between one page and the other, where one page it stated that it's like 120-inch tall sign, which makes it 10 feet, versus on your front page here, stating that it's a sign that goes 8 feet to 50 feet. So I want to know whether it's a 50-foot sign we're looking at, or we're looking at a 10-foot sign.
It is not a 50-foot sign. I can guarantee you that. It's still the same, it's 120 inches. It's been the same size.
So you're asking for 2 more feet.
We're not asking, no, the size of the sign has been approved through the city of Columbus. All I'm asking for is height of the sign from grade.
Okay, so the height of the sign is not.
No, it's from the sidewalk to the base of the sign is what I'm asking for. Typically, the code is from the sidewalk to the base of the sign is 10 feet. We're asking from the sidewalk to the base to be 20.
City says 8 foot up now, you're asking for 50 foot up now. You're still asking for
No, are you looking at the one that says revision on the bottom or the one that says, that's no longer, because we changed it to the revision, they're not gonna issue a new denial letter, they're just gonna edit that one when we go to the variance, so he didn't give me a new one.
What height is it gonna be at now?
It's of 20 feet above grade,
Okay.
so between the first and second floor.
She's running out of time, so, what else did you have?
Did I answer your question?
No, what was the concerns of the community on why they didn't?
It was in a residential area.
It was in, yeah.
And a little too big.
Yeah, and too high.
Too high up on the hill.
If you look at the original, you'll see the vast difference.
I have a question. I didn't receive the new variance language. So what's on the agenda is what you guys had on the agenda for the zoning meeting, which is not what you requested. So I don't know.
It's just a different placement of it.
Well, there were two variances before, it was the size and the.
Right. I'm not sure. I went out to Columbia when I talked to Dane. I just sent him everything, and he said that it was fine, and he wasn't going to issue a new letter. That it was just going to be like an amendment to the existing letter, but he didn't give me one. So I don't know the legality part of that. Are you able to deny the part that's moot now and approve the part that's not?
Yeah,
Or move forward with the part?
We're voting on what she just presented.
Right, it's a different vote.
No, but we were left it open to work on something that was more appropriate.
So you voted down what was.
Right.
So your recommendation to this commission was to vote this down. Right? But to vote down using the variance.
That was the old.
376. So it sounds like you have a motion from the floor.
Yeah.
To what she's now requesting.
I think I got it.
Can I first vote on what the committee did and vote that down?
Yeah, since it changed, correct, yeah.
So we technically need to vote down what the committee brought, committee process, but it was changed since then. So we basically need to vote this down, or we can vote for it, or whatever we want to do. I'm saying how we should vote. But we need to put this in the rest. And if there's a new proposal, then someone needs to make a motion, and then we need to have discussion on that motion, or we second that discussion, and then we can make a vote on that. I don't know if you're going to presentation. But yeah, since that's not what she brought us now that we voted on, you can't just ignore this, because we didn't tell us that we assumed that this was.
No, I did say that in the beginning.
So you said this was no longer.
Correct. Yes, I did say that it was too large and we told her to rework it. But we didn't vote it down. I didn't realize that was necessary, but if we need to do that, Jeremy, did you say you had a?
Yeah, I have the exact code. I mean, I have the code section that she's asking for variance from. Just the difference is that instead of from 8 to 50 feet, we're just asking for 8 to 20 feet.
Correct.
Yes.
It's a smaller version of, I mean, it was a recommendation on a bigger sign. We're amenable to a smaller sign.
Well, we go off the was referred from committee results.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we need to basically put that address at this point. Then,
Totally agree.
Okay, well then let's vote it. Do you have any,
Well, do we need to vote first on that?
right.
Okay, are we ready to start voting?
Yeah.
For the first, and I'll clarify.
Just want to make sure I have it in front of me. All right, so this vote is going to be for 50 East 7th Avenue. It's a graphics commission variance. This is to install one internally illuminated 20 square foot projecting sign that will be placed between the 4th and 5th floors facing west toward 7. The new sign will be visible from North Pearl Street as well. Set back about 4 feet from the right of way, does not give room for installation of ground sign. The community projected sign is not only the most aesthetically pleasing option, but the most practical for the new community. Although this area is zoned residential, the new community has commercial neighbors across 7th Avenue. There's a large Kroger complex that parcel to the west is home to the 7th Avenue Community Baptist Church. The new project sign will not add any additional light pollution to the area or be a nuisance to the new neighbors. So this is the original text. Jillian Dyer.
Abstain.
Eric East.
No.
Jeremy Davis.
No.
Deb Gallagher.
No.
Justin Garland is not here. Seth Bolden.
No.
Ms. Gualagrado.
No.
David Hegley.
No.
Sage Jenkins is not in the commission. Michael Kellmeyer.
No.
Katie McDevitt is no. Benjamin McKinley is not in attendance. Demetrius Morris.
No.
Kevin Cambridge is not in attendance. Lynn Wansell is not in attendance. Tim Sudler. Doreen Wilhelm Sauer. Steve Waldron is not in attendance. Tom Weilerman.
No.
Brian Williams.
No.
The motion fails.
I would like to make a motion to approve the variance that, the revised variance request, which is a variance to 3376.04C, governing residential complex signs to allow increase the allowable height of a residential projecting sign from 8 feet to 20 feet.
You said, so just the 3376.04C and then 20 square foot projecting sign.
No, to increase, the only thing it needs to say is to increase the allowable height of a residential projecting sign from 8 feet to 20 feet.
Please don't prompt
It's not the size of the fence, it's not the size of the sign, it's just the height of the sign.
Can you repeat what you said because I couldn't get the numbers?
Yes. To increase the allowable height of a residential projecting sign from 8 feet to 20 feet.
To 20 feet above grade. And then Doug Gallagher, I have 8 seconds.
So is there any discussion on the motion?
Didn't we already discuss it? Based on the same, okay.
We don't need another presentation. Take discussion on this motion.
Okay. All right, well, let's start down here.
Is the sign backlit still?
Yes.
You have nothing here.
Any question I have for you, I guess, is was there anybody on the, in the community that opposed to the proposal of 20 feet?
No, I called and there was no one here that had any objection. If you could, Scott? Doreen? No?
So the zoning committee has not voted on this.
No,
Not this new one.
no.
How, I guess I'm uneasy with that. Shouldn't this have been already voted and discussed about at the zoning committee?
We voted on her proposal
So this is a new one that she brought today.
Right, and that's what we all agreed.
How, okay. I don't know. It seems like that should not have happened, that this should have gone back before zoning. You guys should have discussed it and it should have come back here with your decision. I don't know. Isn't that how we do things?
Gee, I guess not.
I think for the sake of time.
Okay, because you need an
Because that would
approval.
push us all the way into December, which means we
Yeah.
won't be able to install until February. And
Okay.
just for, I think
I
it's
guess-
the sake of
Trying
time.
to,
that the only change was based on the recommendation.
Yeah, the only change
Yeah,
is based
I
on
get
what
that.
we said.
size.
I get that, but that's not what we do. That's not according to our bylaws and how we handle zoning, but that's okay. I mean, if you're good with it. Yeah. Okay. Sure, yeah,
So
I get that.
everything's okay, and we can proceed?
Sure.
Oh, why did you have to say that? Does anyone else want to, let's go around the second time? Eric?
No comment.
No, not here.
My only comment would be, to let this group know, this is in the design impact review district, UIDRB district. You need to check with your, city contact to get that information. But in terms of just letting this body know that it will have that additional, the revised proposal will have that additional review.
What is it, URID?
I'll talk to you, I'll come to the door with you and talk to you.
He's on the.
Okay, yes, thank you. Or I'll give you my email. Either way, we'll talk.
Okay.
I do have a question about that. So for clarification, it's because of the motion is why that does not have to go back to the court. Okay. That would make that.
So that's the way we're doing it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Nope, and anything?
Nope, no, I'm good.
Okay.
Are we ready to vote?
Are we ready to vote, David?
All right, so this vote, for clarification, is for the variance 3376.04C to increase the allowable height of a residential projecting sign from 8 feet to 20 feet above grade. Jillian Dyer? Yes. Eric East?
Yes.
Jeremy Davis?
Yes.
Deb Gallagher?
Yes.
Justin Garland is not in attendance. Seth Golden?
Yes.
Ms. Qualigrado? David Piper?
No.
Zeta Jenkins is not on the commission. Michael Kellmeyer?
Yes.
Katie McDevitt? Yes. Benjamin McKinley is not in attendance. Demetrius Morris Saunders?
Yes.
Kevin Pangrace is not in attendance, and Juan Sellers is not in attendance. And Sella?
Yes.
Jordan Hessauer? Yes. Steve Waldron is not in attendance. Tom Wildland?
Nope.
Brian Williams?
Yes.
The motion passes with 12 yeses. Got one no, two noes, two noes.
Two noes.
Yep, 12 yes, 2 noes, motion passes.
Thank you. I'm sorry to throw everything out of whack.
Okay, the next case is 421 West Sixth Avenue. And I believe,
You can shred it, do it.
be Steve Hershey and Kent Kroger owners. Okay, you can.
Michael, Michael, was your vote yes?
It was yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
I grew up in so on,
Let's hold on for a couple minutes here.
I'm in Beth Stoughton.
Okay.
And I'll get with Dana, so I'll call him tomorrow. Well, I live in Cincinnati, so I can work here.
Yeah, you did. It's off to a good start.
Oh. Even when you get like, just, I think it's all. Yeah, I think it's all.
Okay, we'll wait, Tim can join, but it's, 421 West 6th Avenue, Stephen Hershey and Frank Kroger.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ken Kroger, and this is my partner, Steve Hershey. Yeah. There we go. Is that better?
Yeah. Just keep it real close.
Perfect. Yep. So we own and occupy the residence at 421 West 6th Avenue. It's a 3-story Victorian-style house. It's in the Circles neighborhood, and it's got an existing single-story family room addition off the back of the house. And so the existing kitchen is pretty small, and our plan is to enlarge that and move it to the rear of the house to maximize the natural light in that room. And so this involves expanding the footprint of the existing first floor addition for both to accommodate the kitchen and also the family room. And the existing kitchen space will be backfilled with a mudroom and also a powder room. And so on the second floor, we will be adding a bedroom above that. And this will take the bedroom count on the second floor to 3. And then we also have an existing third floor that is used as a guest suite. And so the house is located in the R4 zoning district, which has a limit on the amount of habitable space allowed in the parcel. And this is the floor area ratio, so FAR, and the square footage of the house is divided by the area of the lot. And so the R4 limits the FAR to 0.4. And so the existing house is already above the allowable FAR at 0.48. And so with the increased footprint for the first floor and also the second floor addition, the FAR being requested will be 0.58. And so the single family zoning such as R3 does not actually have an FAR requirement. And since this is a single family house being utilized as an owner occupant, we are asking to obtain approval to increase the FAR.
Is that it? Nothing else? All right. Okay, the zoning committee report was, we heard the exact same presentation somewhat.
Yep.
And voted 6 yes, 0 no's. It was approved. And anyone here from the public that got a card or is here to speak about this? Nobody? Yeah. Okay, commissioner discussion. We'll start down. No? Eric?
So, and if I recall correctly, there was a discussion about a patio space that was removed from the plan. Is that correct? Because it was concerned that it would be overlooking the neighbor's yards. And I see that you guys have stricken that from the plans.
Okay, just take notes.
Yep.
And then answer when we're done.
Oh, got it. Yes. That was a discussion with the architect.
Yep.
We had. And that was over the back area. They had like a widow's walk back there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Nothing here. No questions.
John?
Very cut and dry.
Yeah, I walk past his house a lot, so it's lovely. I just want to hear about neighborhood reaction. Have you talked to neighbors?
We
I'm sorry. Yeah, you just write everything down. We're gonna go around again. Anything, Aaron? No? Katie? Tom, no? No? Okay.
Nope.
You can answer all the questions, not too many, all the questions.
Yes, we did remove the third floor patio, so that was no longer part of the plan. And then we've also talked to our neighbors and like in our immediate vicinity and also on our block and everything and behind us, and nobody has shared any concerns or anything like that with us.
Okay.
Alright, let's do it. All right, so for 421 West 6th Avenue, to extend the first floor addition, and the variance to increase the floor area ratio from 0.40 to 0.58. Jillian Dyer. Yes. Eric East.
Yes.
Jeremy Davis.
Yes.
Deb Gallagher.
Yes.
Justin Garland is not in attendance. Seth Golden.
Yes.
Wally Grotto.
Yes.
David Headley.
Yes.
Michael Kellmeyer.
Yes.
Katie McDevitt is yes. Anthony McKinney is not in attendance. Norm Thomas.
Yes.
Kevin Pangrace is not in attendance. Ray Sellers is not in attendance. Tim Sudlow.
Yes.
Lori Newhouse Sauer. Yes. Steve Baldwin is not in attendance. Brian Williams.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want your materials back? We can pass them all up. Once you pass them up.
I have 14 messages.
Okay. No. You might have to do all that. Okay, that concludes the zoning. Thank you. Yeah.
I know that other committee chairs too also send in reports if you haven't had a chance to read them, they're on their email. So maybe between the reports you want to just get highlight or something.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
I want to thank Brian too for giving us some, sorry.
Anything you wanted to add to that?
Just that we discussed in detail the desire to do the, participate in the citywide election. So I volunteered to come to the next governance meeting with the specific language that we might propose to replace. And then we also talked a little bit more detail about what we'd like Juliana to work on for training packet, which I we're just going to send her some links to some existing documents to basically ask her to make them more visually appealing with the information.
Katie, the planning, and I think before we start, just giving the highlights, congratulations on the trash mod success to Eric and Demetrius and you and others who helped. I think we're going to have applause if you report on productive, which was 20 minutes to go. I like that. Please call.
You have no idea until you get into it. So planning development week, continue the conversation on infrastructural safety. We're bringing in a couple subcommittees to talk about how we can make 4th Street, Hudson, and Summit more safe. So we'll continue that conversation and provide more details soon. Trash mob happened October 8th, from 10 to 12, and we had representatives from each of our 4 districts. So we met and cleaned up, so District 4, so the results. District 1 worked on Hudson from Silver Drive to Indianola. They were able to pick up 18 bags of trash, 2 needles, a Michael Myers mask, a massive drill bit, and a can of fuel. The last time we cleaned up, I think the wildest thing we got was a pair of brass knuckles. I totally forgot about
Wow.
that.
Those for sale?
They're not. A refrigerator, freezer, and rolling chair that are behind a new restaurant, were reported via 311. I wasn't sure whether to listen under illegal dumping, but it is being worked on by the city. District 2 scoured Hudson from Indianola to High, so this is the most comprehensive sweep of trash we've ever had on Hudson, which is just brilliant. They loaded 8 bags. They found 2 needles and earned some community service hours for 9th graders. So amazing job. And I just want to especially call out Eric East, who made all of this, all the physical labor, picking up all the supplies, distributing all the supplies, and then depositing them back. That was massive.
Columbus beautiful people are awesome.
Yes.
They're really good.
Is the awesome 9th grader going to be nominated for that 20?
I was thinking about that. I know her dad. She's a student at Whetstone.
District 3 cleaned up Wyland Park, so that is Demetrius led that. And the streets around the school, 7th Summit and 4th Street. The district team accumulated 8 bags, a ton of chicken bones, about 7 earrings. And I think you had a baby with you. There was like a baby.
Yeah, my son. I brought my whole family, so
20
2 sons, 11-month-old, who was going around an 8-year-old, and my stepdaughter was 6. And then he actually, a couple of neighbors came out and like actually felt that too. So yeah, so it's definitely saying a lot of
It's just incredible to see that like family involvement. So like amazing kudos. It's huge. And then District 4 beautified the alleys of Denison Place. So in total, the University Area Commission reported 34 bags to keep Columbus beautiful, especially impressive considering that most of the bits of trash are tiny things like cigarette butts and cellophane wrappers, blunt wrappers, whatever. So we made a huge push. There's already a ton of litter, so we're gonna have to do it. Nice job, everyone. I'm super proud of this group. So great job. And Sway, did you have something?
If you have any photos, I would love to highlight the accomplishment of Trash Mob. You got it. Thank you. Anything else, Katie?
No, that's it.
Michael, I know you have community relations today.
Sure.
Anything you want to focus on?
No, we had Juliana Silviera join us. She went over the new website. I think it looks fabulous. Lots of big photos, much simpler, much easier to navigate. She just needs help now with content. There's a lot. I mean, what she did was use the content that's in our current site, most of which is not current or up to date, and use that for the new site. So it's kind of, all the copy is kind of fudged in, so it needs rewritten. She's going to send me the link to the new site. I'm going to send it out to the committee and probably zoning people, Seth, Tim, Pasquale, have you guys look it over and make any changes or suggest any changes to the copy that need to happen. I also need to take photos of all the commissioners, and we're going to have bios on the new site. If anybody has any photography skills, let me know. It's kind of hard to take photos with one hand. So it would be, I'd like to do this next month. Just to warn you all, it's probably just going to be headshots, so you don't have to wear ball gowns or anything, you know. Just
contact pictures.
so we have to get, like I said, we have to get the information. Once Juliana sends me the link to the new website, we're going to look it over and send her the updated information. Pardon? Where she's from? Oh, yeah, she works for the Neighborhood Design Center. I think everybody knows her. Yeah. She did say we could probably have it ready by the end of the year. So we're hoping. Yeah. Hoping for that. I think that's it. Sure.
I received nothing in terms of public comment being moved, although I think I just missed something. Oh, I'm sorry, Jeremy. I'm sorry, new glasses. Not working.
For elections, I just want to remind anybody who might be considering running that that the petition packets are due tomorrow by 4:30 p.m. So if you could scan that and send it, you can just send it to commissioners@universityarea.org. I think it's perfectly reasonable for it to be transparent, that everybody sees that you submitted that packet. And then bios will be posted online on October 20th. So right now, the only seat that I know doesn't have anybody running for it would be Brian's current seat. So if anybody knows anybody in District 3 they'd still have an opportunity to run as a write-in candidate in the election. Those declarations are due on October 30th. The election is November 4th from 10 to 4. And I have a sign-up sheet which I will circulate. I'm asking for 2 folks for each 2-hour block, so 9:45 to noon, noon to 2, and 2 to 4:15, just to a little overlap the setup and tear down. And then if you are currently running, you cannot participate in the election. So I'll send this around. And then I forgot to mention during my update on governance, there was a conversation that we hadn't had an updated member directory in a while. So I printed out just a form with all of our names on it and a blank space for your email and cell phone. I think we have most people's email addresses. Well, I mean, I know I do. But if you wouldn't mind filling this out, we'll scan it and send it out to everybody so that everybody has everybody's cell phone. So I'll pass both of these around right now.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So we have, everybody is running for their seat except Brian. Is that what you said? Yeah. Do we have any other people running for those seats that aren't on the commission currently? No. Okay. No. Thanks.
So right now there are no competitive elections.
Okay. Okay, yeah, really?
And Brian's going to be right.
Yeah. I mean,
oh yeah, right in.
That's not pretty bad. So we're going to go around for district concerns. We were projecting that we can end by 8:25. We're almost within spitting.
Wow. Man.
We'll go through the district concerns and then we'll do the treasurer's report.
This is going to be bad.
And then we'll do cleanup and taking leftovers home. We'll start at this end of the table like we start all the time.
District concerns. I just have one question for Swid. I was talking to some neighbors and my wife who frequent Glen Echo Park. The homeless camp at the top of Glen Echo Park has been cleared by the city. There was a notice placed on one of the tents to vacate by October 8th. And residents have been going back there and checking and nobody's there. They're just wondering, does the city send, or does Rex and Park send somebody out to clean that up? Or do we need to organize another neighborhood cleanup of it? Because there's a lot of trash.
I think I got that. I can do it.
Would be a good one that we could talk about in planning.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
No,
if,
that would be a good place to talk about that.
I just didn't know if the city had any kind of policy on that.
And they may.
Because they did hang a notice to vacate sign at the camp, and it's been vacant a couple of weeks.
Brian, anything?
No, I don't think so.
Any district concerns?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had a lot of drug activity, sales around the old
Do you need it?
and the
Yeah.
police gone into a very aggressive mode to try to shake out who is selling the drugs, and have been very active in Portal Park and not letting things just be the way they are, which is good. And that Leanne, what's her name, that picks up the thing, the trash in the alleys for the city, Leanne Ward, she might be a good one. Maybe she could, the city, you could talk, Leanne?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe she could attack that. She's sharp with making things go away. But just be an idea. And I want to say SWIT has been very helpful in many ways. And I appreciate that.
Seth, I don't know if you, but are you sure that things are being called in on 311? Drug activity?
Oh, yeah, I would.
And you don't
Yeah,
have to do that right now, but would you please make sure?
Yeah, I have one neighbor that I'm sure is.
Nothing.
The reports that I have from the neighbors, so I reported this last month and I reported it via 311 and documented. There's potholes in the alley between Glen Echo Drive and Indianola that my neighbor said are big enough to swallow people and tires, and it's been going on too long, but I could lay down. It's huge. So I documented with my feet to scale to just prove how big it is, and it's not being addressed by 311, and we responded last month that they're typically addressed in 3 days, so that's not happening. On Hudson, the trash cans have been observed near the Sohar Collective and the theater and the bus stop across the street. They tend to overflow, especially during weekends where there are special events such as the Flea. I have reached out to CODA. This has been going on for ages, and they say that they won't do it. The notice to vacate has also been observed in Glen Echo Park by neighbors in our district and just the trash there. And then today, somebody on the Glen Echo neighborhood forum they found a giant heroin foil, so it still has drugs in it. And it was found in Glen Echo by someone walking their dog. I did not have time to get specifically where it was, but they had photos of the foil opened up. And the fears were that kids would be picking up these foils and not knowing. The other thing is that obviously heroin can be mixed with fentanyl, and we don't want to have anybody exposed to that. And then during trash mob on Hudson alone, we found 4 needles, which is a big increase in trash mobs because we also have micro mobs that are going on. People are independently electing to pick up trash on their own and doing trash sweeps. And so this is kind of like, did a wider swath of the area, but people have been picking up trash and needles in between. So I think the observations about the drug activity, and specifically I've seen it a lot on my runs in the, what is it lot called? On the corner of Arcadia and High Street, there's like they watch soccer, I think, there. It used to be a really good smash burger. What is it?
Moss.
Yes, Moss, and then behind Lucky's. So I've seen people getting high in their cars on the side of this and so it's still ongoing issues, but that's what's happening near us.
And I know you're documenting them, I should see them, your neighbors and she's okay.
Yep.
Todd, anything with this?
Yeah. We talked about this in the planning committee meeting, but something that we don't really talk about too much, and I've just seen a vast increase in these last 2 weeks, is an increase in accidents in all cities, not just our arterials. And I don't know, maybe if our planning committee could look at maybe sort of educational outreach to all our community members who drive in this neighborhood. I think what I see it where some of these accidents happen, people just don't stop at the stop signs, they just go right through them. I see people driving the wrong direction, which gets people who come in the right direction, suddenly hitting those people. I see the there were 3-foot cars on some of these actions. It just seemed like suddenly after the pandemic, no one knows how to drive. And I think in our planning committee, maybe we could discuss, a neighbor or a district-wide educational program going out to everyone who drives in our neighborhood, to be a bit more aware. Things I've seen also increase in the last 2 months. Dogs are getting loose like crazy in Old North Columbus. I don't know if it's happening in other parts of the district. Usually when dogs are getting loose, it means someone is going around opening up the gates again. So all I'm asking everyone is to put reminders out to community pages for people when they come home to check their gates before they let their dogs out. Because someone during the daytime is going around and probably opening up gates. It could be anybody, be it someone reading a meter, be someone looking to see if they can get some trash out of here, who knows. But there's so many more dogs out there that are escaping and running around than I ever can remember. Increase of theft of tools. I don't know how we, again, we have to probably go out and be an educational force as far as a mission out to our different community pages and remind people that, lock this thing better up, or we need to be more vigilant in finding out who's doing that. Years ago, we had a property owner come in on, I think it was State Street between Hudson and Duncan, who wanted to bulldoze a house and then put up a large apartment complex. We approved those plans. I just want the commission to know, and maybe a heads up to the zoning committee, that property is not up for sale. It's still an empty lot. It's up for sale. So we may be seeing future plans that change, or maybe something different that happens there. Maybe there's something Doreen can fill us in on about the Arcadia Avenue property is up for sale. Nothing was done with that property yet, as they said they were going to do, even after we approved plans. And the fear, of course, what they're asking for is incredible. But the fear is, what could happen at that site. Sinkholes. I've been noticing large, and this probably goes to your potholes, probably a sinkhole. I'm seeing possible potential for sinkholes happening in the future on some alleys and even on some streets. I think the streets that come in mind is Blake, between Indianola and Adams Avenue, where Columbia Gas went in and they cut through the water line, and the road is literally doing this. It won't be long before there'll be a huge sinkhole on that street. It's also happening in alleys all the way down to Patterson Avenue. I think that's most of what I have here. Let's see. This is just beginning to happen. But that's the flags again, and all the holiday celebrations are going out. Again, I don't know how we solve that, with people being a little more vigilant. Glue down your Halloween stuff, bolt it down, concrete it in, and put things on them so when someone takes it, if something comes up and slaps the person in the face. I don't know. Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you. That's fine.
Yeah, I have a question for David. If you could re-educate us as to why and how Robert Truth of the
Yeah, Director, I have not had time to put together that information.
David, anything on that? I don't know. I must live in a different kind of world. We value the troughs, the sinkholes, and the alleys that slow down the traffic. We have seriously considered whether or not an errant couch should be just, sort of paved over as a speed bump. And alternative ways. And we've been having a conversation, Scott Wallace and I with Michelle, based on the New York Times article about how communities can come together more. And I don't know if we're having a future meeting, I think, down for a while. But at that point, what I'd like to do is take some of the ideas that were coming out of Be Well that we have about how we do things and see if we could take a little pilot program, perhaps in each of the 4 districts, to do something between students and residents, whether renters or homeowners, but we want permanent residents and student population and kind of reach out to each other and see what we can do to do things. I'm hoping sometime I have 3-hour walk with the new Nora and I with the new executive director of WOSU, who's very interested in neighborhoods. It was an interesting walk around, but I came away more convinced than ever that sometimes the old traditions wouldn't be bad, but with a new twist. And my 2 suggestions would be on this one, that we have sort of our own Olympic game for carny folk, for who have to throw a beanbag in a hole, which still fascinates me as to where the college kids were raised. But what I noticed was that a lot of the men who were my age actually have much better aim and do it much better. I'd like to see residents of mature era actually challenge perhaps some college kids. I would like to see bed races return on 15th Avenue, but with a twist. The Greeks used to run the bed races down 15th Avenue right into the university area, but I would like to see them sort of urged on by elderly people my age in the bed going, and I was thinking about an interesting kind of senior moment, kind of look to ourselves here. But when you mention mini trash moms, right? I don't want to embarrass her, but my neighbor and Deb's neighbor, Rita Burns, Rita, just raise your hand. We'll see if they're. Rita is a one-woman wonder on the trash line. And she goes out there all the time. My husband and I are driving around looking for someplace for breakfast because we forgot to buy coffee. And there's Rita putting stuff in, up and down Lane Avenue and Summit and stuff. So do you mind if we give you a hand on this, Rita, for all of you? Anyway, if you need a cab, she works at Cab Welfare.
I walk 3 miles every morning.
You're my kind of girl. Okay. Yes, you are. But you two could have an interesting conversation. That's all I got.
Only concerns we have is, in one, there's a whiteout that, one of our neighbors actually stopped a horrible situation. There's a homeless couple and the man was, was pregnant. Girlfriend or whatever she may be, but it's in the area where the gates are and there's a whiteout, so, surprisingly, he was able to view it from his home, but it was very dark over there in that area. We have a lot of homeless people that use that area too, as well, with the start outside. And another concern is one of the other neighbors were talking about the bike lanes, and I've seen it myself coming down 4th and Summit, that we have cars that they don't use the turning lane, they just turn right off within the lanes. So I was given a suggestion, maybe draw some arrows there to help direct traffic and mitigate some of those accidents that might happen. Because we had a neighbor that almost got hit on a bike because of that situation. So, but other than that, those are my only 2 things that
In regards to your full zone thing, the thing you're talking about with the big well zones, going activities, you might want to contact the land about getting community association involved, since we have some money in loans to talk to them and bring it community. One thing, I posted this today to most of the Facebook groups that I can get on. The neighborhood services is doing their Thanksgiving distribution drive. They're especially looking for brown sugar, elbow macaroni, and stuffing mix. But they're collecting gravy packets, stuffing, cornbread mix, canned yams, canned green beans, canned corns, and elbow pasta, which is, like I said, the main things are the sugar, brown sugar, elbow macaroni, and stuffing mix. Stuffing mix. I bought like a case of it, which I need one to which I'll probably do again.
Did you say stuffing?
Stuffing, yeah, for Thanksgiving.
And this is in preparation for Thanksgiving, huh?
Yes, so they're having a food drive, and so I sent it out to a lot of the Facebook groups and circles, Dennison Place, Moreland Park, Old North, Monaco, so you should be able to find it on your
One thought that maybe, and certainly everybody can contribute to them individually. But our next area commission meeting would be what is it, November 15th, which is still a week we can have to wait for them. So the appeal has already gone out about boots and about warm clothing and other things, but canned goods and non-perishables could be something else to add to that list. If you want to write yourself a note to bring on the 15th, and then we can have it all up there together and have fun. Okay.
Yeah, the other thing, just, you'll probably see this once I got a notification on my email, Zeta just sent us a, introduction to Tyler Littlejohn, who's on here next year, so, yes, you see, yeah, so, I'm not gonna make fun of him from November.
I just want to touch on what Eric and Katie already talked about, was the closing of the homeless areas. I think the city council authorized the police department to close homeless encampments a month or so ago, month and a half ago, and that's when it started happening. I know they've closed a couple by me as well. One was in a vacant house. So, but that's what it would be interesting to know how many they've closed in the University District, where do they take them, and how they're treated. But I think that's probably a question for the police guy. But I'm interested in that as well.
Sorry, I did have, I knew there was something in the back of my mind. One thing, this isn't Wyland Park, but I did hear from somebody else elsewhere in the district. And this is somebody who's been concerned about the noise from Cazuelas. I guess things are a little bit better there, but then the new the gin joint thing opened up, and I guess there's been some concern with music there. But one thing that strikes me on that, there ought to be some kind of outreach. I don't know whether the University District residents who are not students and who are maybe well past being students, there seems to be kind of a disconnect. And is there anything you think that we can do to kind of make local businesses realize they are in a neighborhood, but also have longtime residents say, okay, this isn't this crazy, the world getting crazy around you. Can we reach out to the owners as well? I'm just kind of thinking out loud here.
Well, with Consuelos, I know Tom numerous times, me numerous times, and they might for a week and then they amp it back up.
I think the things you're suggesting are really good. And a number of other things that are coming up along the same lines that you and I have talked about this, and it has to do with looking at models of things that we would love to have seen in the university area, but they appear in Cleveland and Cincinnati and other places. And maybe it's time, and I haven't talked to Laura about this, who probably does not have one looking at her plate from her extensive videos, is writing for a humanities grant to bring in some various other people, because they can put that the humanities grant would kind of start to bring conversations like that back in. In a way, it's about getting civically involved and reaching across, which is kind of where Michelle and actually Lena and I have started a discussion that was very, very important.
The friend that I heard.
So maybe we should find some time other people who are interested that we could sit and just brainstorm this out. Doesn't have to be an official committee or anything, but more of a coffee time to figure that out.
The friend I heard from was concerned about the gin joint, and then I got a text from her a day or two later saying, "Hey, I went over and talked to him," and so she said, for a couple of days it's been better. We'll see what happens. And I said, hey, stop over there again, say hello, make sure they know that you're in the neighborhood, and that's kind of what got me thinking about the reaching out. And
yeah, I don't want to lose that. Right. I really don't. I think that's where a good junction. Okay, now, when I'm going to talk, and now we're really related, but I was hoping to start early, is, Treasurer, anything report? Yeah, he's here. Here, you can do there.
Want to see what? I was. Oh, there's nothing to report.
Did you get everything straightened out?
Yeah, I actually handed the thing to Dave Huey as he was walking in. She still said, I didn't get that. And Swin called me. I said, I gave it to the director. So, yeah, it's, yeah. Hey, just real quick, do petitions have to be notarized? They used to.
We changed that last year.
Okay. Yeah, I got mine notarized, just, I wasn't sure.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn? Yes. What?
Minutes.
Minutes. Oh, minutes.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to approve minutes?
Second.
Second? And were there any corrections?
I charged him today. The date of the meeting was documented was August, it was actually September. And who was my second one?
All those in favor of accepting the minutes, that's corrected?
Aye.
Opposition? Adjournment? No.
No, let's just stay here all night.
I second.
Just think of any stories Tom can tell us.
All those in favor of adjourning and taking the leftovers, she said again?
Aye.
Any objections? No. Thank you, Vice President.
Thank you.
I can bring my camera next month.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That would be fabulous.
I can just bring either a memory card and
Oh, that would be great.
or I have a little.
Okay, that would be great. I thought we'd just stand against the wall.
Yeah.
I would not.
The lighting and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I think we need an outside, another light.
No, these won't be great.
Okay.
It'll be fine.
Okay. Yeah, just stand up against the wall. Yeah. That's fabulous. Probably not have that anyway in Photoshop, so. Thank you very much, that's very nice.
No. Just send me an email. All right.
Ohio, it's like, yeah,
Everybody